Hi, how's it going, everybody? Um, ah, I hate that I missed the Ben Whitaker fight. Just one of them days I was just trying to re-energize. I was trying to get my rest because I don't get my rest. I'm doing a lot of things. All right, my thing is, well, let me start the show. Let me like really get the show started. Let me check what YouTube is doing. What's up? I'm precisely appreciate you, man. You like, man, do you sleep? I think you worse than me. It don't seem like you never sleep. It's like every time of the day that I look on something, you there. Precisely is he never sleeps. Long as you on point, that's the main thing. Long as you on point. Um, yeah, let me see. Let me see. Give me a second. Um, yeah, let me share this to you. I mean, Twitter. I don't think I'm gonna ever be able to really call Twitter X. It just sounds weird. I guess it's like in the South when you got that cousin that changed his name to Raheem or Ali or something, or you still going like, man, that ain't what I know you for. All right, got that done. That I hate that I forgot to put we are live. Let me put do Facebook now. Today's show I might just talk about supporting the survey. I'm gonna do a show about the survey a little bit. I'm not gonna do a long show because it's late. It's later than what I usually do a show. I was like kept debating with myself. Should I do a show today? Shout out to Don D 205. You can catch him on Don D TV on Instagram, and you can catch him Don D 205 with Don D 205 TV on Instagram, and you can catch him Don D 205 on Twitch and Don D 205 on Twitter. Support them. Let me see. Yeah, all right, give me a second. Cause I was gonna do some lives today on Facebook, TikTok. I was like, let me do this whole day, just do different lives on different platforms. All that went to the side. I just changed up everything. Yeah, you said this on the 11th, man. Man, I seen you on. So you're in my time zone because it's about 11. When you say 11, you talking about 11 p.m., right? You talking about 11 p.m. But man, if you're in my time zone, I seen you on the Discord. It'd be like in the morning time and stuff like that. Like, Dad, go do I precisely sleep? He worse than me. Yeah, you're on my time in my time zone, so you're an East Coast baby. I mean East Coast person. I'm in Massachusetts. Dad, I ain't know Massachusetts was basically the East Coast. I always thought the Massachusetts was Midwest or Central New America. Thought you was in the same area as what's my man name? Don D. See, I gotta refresh my brain with the map again. All right, let me see. Yeah, let me get on this stuff that I got written out because I don't want to bleed into Don D time frame because his show starts about 12, and I don't think I want to be on 12 o'clock or after 12. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, let me see. I did a All right. Yeah, I'm gonna read for my thing because I think I'm gonna just do the a survey thing and I might just go from there and see how things turn out. But like I keep telling y'all, I'm gonna keep pushing this third party survey because it's important. And a lot of y'all think it's not important. And this the funniest thing to me is like when you have people in the industry telling you stuff, and I'm telling y'all that people in the industry are telling me this to get Still City to make a third party survey. But people are like pushing back on it hard. I'm like, yo, y'all pushing back. But other developers are saying that's a great idea. It helps us decide if that's what we want to do. We want to invest in making a boxing game. Because if you look at my post on LinkedIn has boxing, has game companies there. All of the my LinkedIn is linked up to game companies, every game company. Every game company that exists, somebody in that company is my friend. Every game company that exists, somebody in that company is my friend, if not the company. So when I say things, I'm not saying it just to be saying it, but people still want to push back. And that's what made me think some people, they got talked to. Like Still City talked to them or said something to them. Or they got a developer trying to act like, hey, you know what? Poe think you know what he's talking about. He don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, he gonna say that because he's trying to deflect. They don't want to do more work. What I asked for makes them do more work, but they don't want to do that. And my thing is, in this day and age, the way the gaming industry is, you should want to do as much work as you can because you got to worry about AI and you got to worry about getting fired if your company's not doing that well. Because for one, the rumor is, people always say, oh, boxing video games is a niche. Boxing is a niche. They talking about the sport is a niche. That's the biggest bucket of crap there is. Because boxing is a $1 billion industry. Multi-billion dollar industry. Because if it wasn't, Turkey wouldn't be investing money in it. Dana White wouldn't come from the UFC, which a lot of y'all keep saying is making more money than boxing. So why would Dana White want to put money into the UFC? Why would they want to put money into the UFC? Why would they want to be bothered? I mean, why would they want to be bothered with boxing? Why is all of these channels, these networks? Do y'all research? Why do all these networks want to be dealing with boxing? All these networks that used to have boxing on their channel are thinking about putting it back. What is that? TNT or USA Network. They're bringing back boxing. They have a whole series planned out. I think it's in May or June, something like that. They got a whole series coming out. All these it's how many? I think it's 20 networks. 20 networks that has boxing. For it to be niche, why are they putting money into it? Why are they putting money into it? Why would Dana White give somebody like Conor Benn $15 million to fight Regis Prograis? That's $1 million fight, if anything. A $1 million fight, if anything. But he gave him $15 million. That was technically a signing bonus for what he was going to, the multi contract deal he just did. That was basically a signing bonus. Dana White got to make it look good, so he's going to basically do like what Al Heyman was doing. He's going to get a lot of people that he's going to sign for nice prices, and then once he get a nice stable of boxers, then he's going to start doing what he normally does in the UFC. That's how I see it. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. What's up, Norton Block Solo? Solo in the house. Solo is in the house. Let me see. What's up, Don D205? Appreciate you. What it do, Poe? I got you on my TV while I'm making something to eat. I know you are making something to eat. This is your time frame. I think Dana White is making strategic moves, man. He signed some big names so far, yeah, but he's doing he called himself being slick. You sign a couple of boxers, it's like when a person's trying to promote something or is trying to make things visually. You sign a couple of big names. You might not have the budget for it. You might not literally have the budget for it. But you say, I'm gonna take that chance. He signed because Turkey giving him money to do certain things. It ain't Dana White money, it's Turkey money. But the thing is, this is what we got to look at. Y'all not looking at the market. The market is struggling now in the Saudi Arabia because of the war over there. So the market is strange. So Dana White is really going to start pulling back, but he's trying to do it quickly now. Let me sign these people. But he's grabbing some people. He grabbing the jokers that's MMA friendly people. The MMA friendly people. And I know a lot of y'all don't know what I mean when I say MMA friendly people. Conor Benn is visually friendly to an MMA fan. All these people that he's signing. Yeah, Dana White, he's my thing is how can you trust Dana White the way all these MMA fighters are complaining? The people that's getting paid, they're not going to complain. They're going to defend them getting paid. But it's a lot of MMA fans, boxers, athletes that's not getting paid. It's just like people defend Don King. There are people that will defend Don King, even though Don King is known in the industry as not being a good promoter. All right, let me get back to what I was doing. Let me get back to what I was doing. I got too many things going on my screen, but I think I'm pushed through. All right. There's a point where frustration stops being noise and start becoming data. And right now, in this space around boxing games and fan expectations, we hit that point. A third-party survey with public results isn't just a nice idea. It's a stabilizer. It's a reality check. It's the only way to cut through the layers of assumptions. Assumptions. What do I mean by assumptions? When the developers that's not boxing fans, y'all think there's a studio because they put that in, it's psychology, and that's my thing. The study of people, that's my thing. Their thing is to give y'all things that y'all think y'all still gonna want, because they did that they did a what I would call a psychology move, but that's not the term for it, but I call it a psychology move. They gave us what we wanted in the beginning visually. They gave us what we wanted visually, and then they took it away and started watering it down. That's psychology. So now people are defending it because in their brain, we had that. We had that. We know they can do it. Nah, they're not doing that because they changed from that. And people should have started complaining immediately. Not one or two people. Me, Beast, and a couple of other people. No. It should have been the community. You know what happened when EA took away the buttons? When EA took away the buttons, they immediately start complaining. Everybody in unison start complaining. Yeah, there are people that love the sticks, but a lot of people in unison start complaining. EA saw it. They saw the pressure. And you know what they did? They put back in the sticks. And this is the craziest thing. A lot of people think, and this crazy, they're not really thinking. They was thinking, how can they put back in the use of the sticks when they got to program that with, they got to do the whole thing? No, man, they do that from where they're at. They do that from where they're at. They don't literally have to just take the whole game down and redo it just to know. That is something people just don't really, back then, they still were able to patch it in. And they patched in that you can have the sticks. The buttons. People don't realize how much power they have. But you got what I call the buffers. All right, let me get back to this thing. All right. A third-party survey with public results isn't just a nice idea. It's a stabilizer. It's a reality check. It's the only way to cut through the layers of assumptions that keep getting repeated as if they are fact. Because here's what's happening instead. People are talking about the audience without actually measuring the audience. People are talking about the audience without actually measuring the audience. How do you measure an audience? How do you measure an audience? with data, with a survey that gathers data. Developers assume what fans want. Content creators assume what is good enough or what fits their agenda. Content creators assume what is good enough or what fits their agenda. And my thing is, everybody should not be speaking for the community. Facts. Everybody should not be speaking for the community. Because this is what I paid attention to. The people that are hardcore UFC fans, they go deep, they go hard for UFC games. They complain, they argue, they make video after video when it comes to the UFC. But when it comes to a boxing game, they don't show the same energy. So that's why I always get on certain people. And it's not like I'm like literally getting on you, hating on you, or anything like that. But that's why I get on certain people. Because you don't show the same energy you show for the UFC. And it's okay. But my thing is, when people like me actually like, man, could you just put out there, because you do have boxing fans that follow you, could you please help me push the survey? And they say no. And my thing is like, yo, that's crazy. I literally share all of your content. I literally let people know about you. But you cannot support me saying we need a survey? That's crazy. My thing is, I support a lot of people. It's only 3 people that I stopped sharing their content because they were very disrespectful, and I see that they're really not for the community. There's 3 people. But other than that, there's people that are like, but I still share their stuff. Let me see what Just saying in the chat. Boxing being a niche is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because that's a great way for them to downplay things. They keep saying niche. Boxing is a niche. Not boxing is a niche. Look up the term. Boxing makes too much money to be a niche. Even in the, like when people say boxing is a niche video game, it's not a niche video game. Yeah, we haven't had yearly releases. We don't have as many as other sports games. But there are over 100 boxing video games that's been made. There have been over 100 boxing video games being made from different kinds of boxing video games, from different companies. You got TechSim. You have VR. You have the, like Fight Night and Undisputed. You got, it's all these different kind of boxing games. They are boxing games. So that means that there is a fan base for it. And my thing is, I like to do research on people. Like when I go on these sites with the TechSim fans, I say, what would make you come on to be a boxing, like a tradition, what I call a traditional, like Fight Night type, Undisputed. What would make you be that type of fan? To the TechSim fans, a lot of them older. You got it's a sprinkle of younger generation people in the TechSim fan community. And I asked them what would make them come over. And they said if boxing is represented realistically. So my thing is, companies like Steel City and EA and stuff like that, they're leaving money on the table because you don't even have options to make the game more realistic for people that's genuinely boxing fans. A lot of these guys that's claiming to be genuinely boxing fans, they are arcade fighter fans. They are arcade fighter fans. You could tell by the way that they play the game. If you go to their history of the games that they play, it would be primarily fighting games. So that's why when they play Undisputed, they're okay with it, because Undisputed has a resemblance of a fighting game. Let me see. I'm precisely say people just say anything. They do. My thing is, why are people still playing Undisputed and acting like nothing is wrong with the horrendous game? What's up, Box Eye View? Box Eye View, another person that he's always on point. And Dondi said, and Steel City has to grow up and stop acting like they're immune from criticism from the community, because in truth, there is no excuse for their game to be that terrible. Then on top of that, they haven't given any news or updates on their game in almost half a year. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. Because indie companies, like modern day indie companies, they usually stay on point. They use, because if you, it's a Steel City. If you want to use the indie company term, that you're an indie companies keep people updated more than the AAA and AA. Indie companies keep their fan base updated more than AAA and AA. But guess what? When I was helping EA, we stayed on point. When I was helping EA, we stayed on point. I was like, y'all can't go long terms. I mean, long stretches without saying anything. And they said, we're not. We're going to constantly have content for you to talk about or say something about. And even when they did, I made up things to talk about and made it more digestible for there to be anything like a gap or something. But the thing is, with EA, they had a product that was finished. Even though it might have some hiccups or thing that's going on, they tried to fix it and they replied or said something. But Steel City, they think they beyond everything. They think they're above everything. And to me, this is not professional, and this is not the way things supposed to be handled in the industry. And let me give another shout out to Noah Block Solo. I don't think I literally shouted them out. Noah and Block Solo, support them, please. Let me see. Let me get back to what I was reading. All right. Developers assume what fans want. Content creators assume what is good enough. Publishers assume the market is already understood. See that? Publishers assume the market is already understood. But with a survey, that changes everything. But nobody wants to listen to Poe. He's the old disgruntled guy that's paying for stuff. that's paying for stuff. And fans get split into camps arguing opinions that were never validated in the first place. And fans get split into camps arguing opinions that were never validated in the first place. That's the gap. A neutral third-party survey with transparent methodology and public results removes something critical from the equation: interpretation bias. Interpretation bias. Nobody gets to spin the outcome. Nobody gets to quietly reshape the narrative after the fact. The data is what it is. The data is what it is. And people don't get that. The more we push for data, for a survey, the more they can't give us what they think we need. Listen to what I said. What they think we need, not what we want. And my thing is, this is my main thing. Options should be the thing. Options should be the thing. And their thing is, they do not want to test the options. They don't want to have people testing for realism. They don't want to test people to test for arcade. They don't want people to test for hybrid. They don't want to get those people. And it's stupid because you can give people in the community by giving a poll or survey or whatever. You grab a couple of people and they would just to play the game. You don't got to pay them just to play the game. They're okay with that. Hey, you're going to let me play the game early access? Early access, like literally development type stuff, and you let me play? So you do a survey, like that's a separate from the survey I'm talking about. You do a survey for these people, and you see the arcade fans. You got the hybrid fans. And then you got the realistic boxing fans. You see what they expect and want from the game. Now you got these three different player base testing the game. Now you got the people that you want that's going to help you structure what a realistic boxing game should look like, what a hybrid game should look like, and what an arcade version of the game should look like. So when y'all do things, y'all making excuses to confuse the community. And that's intentionally. I know this. I know these things. That's why the developers get angry at me. That's what certain people in the community get angry at me, because they know what I'm saying is correct and right. I've been doing this too long. See? I've been doing this too long. I've been in this community too long. I know a lot of y'all think, hey, give it up, old man. Hey, give it up, Poe. Y'all stupid. Y'all don't make logic. Y'all don't make logic. Y'all not logical about things. What my parents grew up with, what I grew up with is different. What I grew up with is in this era. What I grew up with is in this era. So I grew up with technology. My parents didn't have the same technology. So of course they're going to say things about gaming and stuff like that. And it's okay if you get on people that their whole day is just gaming and they're doing nothing else. That's about anything. That is about anything. that's not helping them survive. That's with anything that's not helping them survive. But when you say, hey, you're too old to be playing video games, that's my mother era and before her. So make it make sense. Y'all want people like me because I'm passionate to be quiet. And my thing is, y'all feel like I'm just okay with things. That's because you're settled. That because if you were in a I was gonna make an analogy, but if you was in a development, in a certain situation, somebody would take everything from you. I'm gonna just leave it like that. If you was in a certain situation, you would be an easy target for somebody to take something from you. And they would change your whole world around. You'll be something that you're not. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. And fans get split into camps arguing opinions that were never validated in the first place. That's the gap. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. All right, nothing. All right. A neutral third-party survey with transparency, methodology, and public results removes something critical from the equation: interpretation bias. Nobody gets to spin the outcome. Nobody gets to quietly reshape the narrative after the fact. The data just is what it is. And what matters more right now than people want to admit, and that matters more right now than people want to admit, because when the feedback loop breaks, the entire ecosystem starts to react to echoes instead of reality. You end up in situations where loud voices are mistaken for a majority opinion. Engagement is mistaken for agreement. Silence is mistaken for satisfaction. And this is the thing. I know I keep stopping. All right. Engagement is mistaken for agreement. And that's where they got y'all. That's where they got y'all. When the developers pop up every once in a while, they try to break up that unity. When people start trying to unify under one voice, hey, yeah, we want this, we want that. When we start coming together, they gotta come in there with, hey, we're engaging with y'all, so we're doing this, we're working on that. Yeah, we might put out another DLC or this and that. That breaks up anything. That breaks up all that rebellion, all that dislike them, and all that. Engagement is mistaken for agreement. Silence is mistaken for satisfaction. Your silence, that the people that's being silent and saying that the developers know what we want, you're being silent. If we constantly attack them, constantly show disagreement, they got to make movement. They have to make movement. But we're silent. So they feel there's no urgency, that we're okay. We could do what we want to do. And that's the problem. And none of these are the reliable signals. What makes this more frustrating is not just the lack of data, it's the resistance to collecting it properly. It's the resistance to collecting it properly. You think creators, fans, even athletes involved would want clarity? You would think creators, fans, even athletes involved would want clarity, but instead there's hesitation, fragmented support, indifference, or worse, dismissal. And that leaves people who are actually asking for structured feedback feeling isolated. Like they're overreacting for wanting something as basic as measurable truth. And that leaves people who actually ask for structured feedback feeling isolated. Like they're overreacting for wanting something as basic as measurable truth. But this isn't about validation, it's about alignment. This isn't about validation, it's about alignment. If a sport, a community, or a game ecosystem if a sport, a community, or a game ecosystem is being built without accurate input loops, it will eventually drift away from its core audience. Not because of bad intent, but because of bad information hygiene. Because of bad information hygiene. A properly designed survey solves that by doing three things. Let me see what y'all are saying before I read on. All right, nobody's saying nothing. First, it defines the real audience breakdown. Not assume personas, not marketing categories, but actual self-identity users with measurable preferences. Second, it separates intensity from volume. Not all opinions are equal in predictive value. A structured survey can weigh responses based on engagement level, expertise, and usage patterns. Third, it creates accountability. Once results are public, decisions can be compared against them. That alone changes how serious feedback is treated. Let me read that again to the people in the background. Third, it creates accountability. Once results are public, decisions can be compared against them. That alone changes how serious feedback is treated. Right now, what's missing is that shared references point. Excuse me. Right now, what's missing is that shared reference point. And without it, every decision becomes subjective. Every disagreement becomes personal. Every critique gets interpreted as hostility or loyalty instead of information. So when someone says we need a survey, it's not just about numbers. It's about restoring a baseline everyone can stand on without arguing over whether the ground is real. Let me read that again. It's about restoring a baseline everyone can stand on without arguing over whether the ground is real. Because until that happens, the conversation stays stuck in the same loop. People talking past each other. Each conversation, they're representing the majority with no neutral system to confirm that's actually right. And that's the real problem. No disagreement. Not disagreement, but the absence of a shared truth mechanism. That's why this matters right now. And that's my thing for the survey. I wrote something else I'm gonna talk about. Let me see. What's something else I want to talk about? I think it's the boxing games and the support. Yeah. All right. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. What's up, Norton? let me see. Boxing games can be great for boxing, but the sport has to show up for it. There's a reoccurring mistake. There's reoccurring misunderstanding in the relationship between boxing and boxing video games. People often treat them as separate worlds. One is real sport, the other is entertainment product. In reality, they are increasingly intertwined ecosystems that can either reinforce each other or quietly drift apart. Right now, boxing games have massive potential, but the potential is only fully realized when boxers, promoters, and the broader boxing culture actively participate in shaping and supporting them, not just as licensors, but as stakeholders. Boxing games are no longer just games. Boxing games are no longer just games. Let me read that a third time. Boxing games are no longer just games. Modern sports games are not static representation of a sport. They are living simulation platforms. A well-designed boxing game today functions as a global visibility engine for boxers, a training ground for fan engagement, a historic archive for styles and eras. And that right there, I gotta go back with that one. A historical archive for styles and eras. Neither one of those were accurately represented and undisputed. Neither one of those were accurately represented and undisputed. And we could say that about Fight Night Champion. But to me, no matter what people say about Fight Night Champion, it was a complete game. Not as complete as I know it was supposed to be, but it was a complete game. All right. A spectacle, a well-designed game today functions as a speculative lab for what-if matchups, a long-term revenue and branding channel for athletes. For athletes, not for companies, for athletes. And my thing is, I think fans would be okay if they were given to the athletes. Like especially the athletes that are down on their luck. And that would mean that we will have more athletes in the game. That means we will have more athletes in the game. And my thing, you got some of these, this how you could tell. It's to me, when I think about what is going on with a boxing game, I understand it from a boxing perspective, from a person that's like think logically. Because some of these fans, it shows that they don't care about human beings. They don't care about people. They don't care about people. Because my thing is, it's like somebody walking up to you and they start drawing you. And they selling t-shirts with your picture on it. You're going to want to get paid for that. You're going to want to get paid for that. But then it could be a person that come out and say, "Hey man, why are you worrying about this guy getting paid off for your And it could be a company. That guy could be working for a company, and they let people just walking by, and they drawing pictures of you, and they're getting paid. They're making a lot of money off of your sketch, your artwork on a shirt or something. They're making money off of it. You're going to want to get paid off of that. You're not going to say, well, I got a job, so I'm okay. Are you going to say that? I got a job. I'm okay. My job pays me good. Are you going to say that? No, you want to get paid for your image, literally, for your image. So when boxers, so that's why I'm trying to make an example so it could be context. So when boxers want to get paid off their image, money does not last forever. That's a business decision. To a lot of these boxers, it's not personal, it's business. A lot of them got to think about their family's legacy. What happens after them? Because money does not last forever. It's a business decision. But fans always feel like, well, it's not really affecting me. He should be in the game for free. It's not really affecting me. He should be in the game for free. Some boxers can do that because they know how to manage their money better. And y'all know Floyd Mayweather, he will never be in the game for free because he's a businessman and you can't get mad at that because you know who he is. It's not like he didn't tell you who he was. He's a businessman. It's just the point of him overpricing himself. That's the thing. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. I'm going to be honest, Paul. I don't think SCI has the maturity of character to do or accept a survey. It's sad to say it's true. Can you tell us, in your opinion, why do you think you haven't said anything about they haven't said anything about updates or the future of the game in so long? Yeah, my opinion is in my opinion, in other developers' opinion. Like I tell y'all, I talk to developers every day. That's the thing that get frustrated with me. It's like you tell people, you can't literally tell people the conversations. You literally can't tell them what developers you're talking to. Because you know what people love to do? Like, I hate to say it, like females, like men acting like females, and I don't have nothing against that. But I'm just saying, it's just a term. Men that bicker and go back and I got this information I got to tell you. They can't hold information. And my thing, they got to always cross-examine everything. And that thing is like, hey, I talked to somebody from I'm making an example. I'm not going to say it's a real company because I'm not going to give y'all information. So let's say I talked to somebody from Bethesda. I'm gonna say Bethesda because you know they're not thinking about making a boxing game. Let's say I talked to somebody from Bethesda, and they're saying surveys work. It will work. What you're saying will work. And I know a lot of y'all would be like, "Hey, I told you I'm making an example. Don't get all your panties all up in the butt." Well, Bethesda ain't never give us a survey or stuff like that. Companies have said the survey idea is a great idea, especially for a company like Steel City, especially like a company for Steel City. Pillow talk, because it's late. Let me see. People, let me see. I'm precisely said, Paul, what does Brian Hayes think about Undisputed? Ah, man. That's why I be talking indirectly without putting people names in it and stuff. Just in case Brian Hayes want to come on with Steel City. Just in case at some point, like if Steel City like decide to do a survey or do something great, And I put Brian Hayes out there now because Steel City do watch these videos. I know they do because they want to see what I'm saying about them. That's why they get so angry with me. And I don't want to put Brian Hayes out there, like saying, hey, yeah, Brian Hayes said this, Brian Hayes said that. But I'm going to say this. Brian Hayes won a realistic boxing game. He always had wanted a realistic boxing game. He always won a realistic boxing game. Even in the beginning, he was excited. When he saw the ESBC version, he was excited. He started marching. He said what he said to me. I'm going to talk about our conversations early. I'm not going to tell y'all about stuff that we have said since then. When I did talk to him before he just shut it down. He was happy for Steel City because he feel like, hey, they pushing what you, hey, Paul, they basically want what you wanted all this time. They giving y'all that. They giving you that, Paul. I know you happy. He was happy for me. He was happy for me when the ESBC. And he said, hey, ESBC, the ESBC version is going to make us be able to give us what you wanted, what fans really wanted with EA. Because he was pushing for realism and stuff like that, but EA always had a certain thing, a way they wanted to make video games. Hybrid. That leaned more towards arcade. It had an arcade feel to it. Over-sensualized the punches. Over-sensationalized the punches. Or certain things. But Brian Hayes wanted it to have a realistic feel to it, a realistic mode. He was pushing for that. A lot of the things that y'all hear me talk about, Brian Hayes was really saying that too. He was saying it. We used to almost be like, because I used to always say, yo, man, what you know about this? What you know about this technology? What do you know about this? He said, Poe, I know about that. I'm like, yeah, you just saying that. And he'll show me that he was doing the research on that. He used to look at the punch force and all these different things. Brian Hayes used to do a lot of research. Shout out to Brizzle, man. So why do you think SCI hasn't said anything in all this time? You and I both know they hear the clamoring and other things, but how can they not pay attention? Because they do pay attention to everything. They're scared. They're scared. And I know somebody's telling them, don't say anything. Don't say anything. And that's crazy in the industry. That's not how things work. They're scared to say anything because people are going to attack them. People are going to attack them. Even if they say the right thing right now. Even if they say the right thing right now. Because people are going to attack them because it took them too long to say something. It took them too long to say something. It's like a man being hurt on his job and he's trying to hide his limp from his wife, right? I'm just making an example. I know it's a weird example. A man got hurt on his job and he's trying to hide it from his wife. And she wanted him to go out and do yard work. And he doesn't say anything. And the yard work is building up and building up and building up. But he's not saying anything. It's just keep building up. And she's getting frustrated. And she's getting frustrated more and more and more. And things are building up, building up, building up. That's the example I'm making. I know it's a weird example. They will go back and say, hey, such and such told me this is going on. Is it true? They will and they won't. See, when people be telling me stuff, I'm going from my experience from the inside and me constantly, like I keep telling y'all. And this is what somebody told me. Why would developers be talking to you? What makes you so special? Why would developers be talking to you? What makes you so special? I never said Steel City developers are talking to me. I never said Steel City developers are talking to me. I talk to developers every day, literally every day. But my thing is, when we don't say anything, developers start thinking for themselves, even if they don't know what they're doing. Their thing is, they're manipulating Ash Habib, and he letting them. They're manipulating Ash Habib, and he's letting them. And when you listen to Ash Habib in the beginning, he was like, he know what a publisher does. And the thing is, that's not how all publishers are. And my thing is, what Ash should have did, which would have been the great thing to do, he should have went to Turki Al Sheikh immediately. He should have went to Turki Al Sheikh immediately. Because the graphics that we got early was all of those graphics was from 1024. You could tell the difference between 1024 graphics, the attention to detail, to the regular developers that make graphics for the team. 1024 does, when they say the marquee fighters, that's what 1024 does. Even though 1024 has stock in the company, they're not putting in all their resources into the company because they're doing other projects. Now, if Turki Al Sheikh would have been one of the investors in the game, that we would have had 1024 doing all of the stuff. We would have had better everything. But Ash Habib pulled the trigger on the wrong thing. Let me see. Don D said, to me, the company is already collapsing because if another company makes a great boxing game, that's pretty much it for them. They, SCI, did this to themselves. Exactly. But I think the way some of these fans are, what people have the tendency of doing, and it shows improve with games in general, because I see people playing games from 30 years ago, and to me, the games were trash. Some people, they're stuck with certain games that they're good at. Even though this game is broke, some people will stay with it and defend it no matter what because they're good at it. Because they found a way to win and look good. It's like a guy buying some cheap sneakers and he had a fight with somebody in those cheap sneakers, and he gonna think that them cheap sneakers is the reason he was doing good in that fight. Nah, man, you literally just start fighting back. You just literally start fighting back. It had nothing to do with the sneakers. And it's the same thing. When you put that energy into something, you think that's what's making it better than what it is. Let me see. Don D said, I'll never play Undisputed again because it's a slap in the face to the history and gallantry of the sport. And it's sheer disrespect to the community that got them to the position they are now. But surely what a man sow, that they shall be reaped so. It is what it is with Steel City, but surely I will come back on them. Yeah. And this is the thing. There's a lot of people, they They defend this game because, like I keep saying, they're successful at it. I can't play it. I will not play this game. I will not play this game. You know how many people keep saying, Poe, play the game. Come on, man. We need you. We need you. Break it down. Get in the leagues and stuff like that. Why? 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 My thing, that means I'm being fake to myself. Me. I'm not talking about none of y'all. Me. I'm talking about me as a person that boxes, and as a boxing fan. If I play the game in the community, when people at all these years that people like followed me or know of me, they're gonna say Poe caved in. Poe caved in. And you know what you know what bugs me out? And I never tell this to people, but I'm gonna tell this to people. My son, he looks at me as I don't cave in for anything. He look at me as he know that everything I do is within reason, that I speak with logic. I do things logical. So when he see me cave into my wife with certain things, because I pay attention to my surroundings, and I see that he had this look on his face, or he rebellious about certain things, and he be like, hold up, man. I look up to you, man. You my everything. He said, he see people. He see people on the street, they respect me. Like when I'm in a downtown area or stuff like that, and people know me, they be like, oh, and they say certain things. Or people that I call my brother that used to box with me, and he see them praise me. Or when I used to go to boxing matches, and people praise me or give me, respect. He looks at those things. So people always look at what you do. I'm trying to make a example, but I think I went too far to the left. But people always look at you when you keep doing certain things. Like you could be like stand on something. Like me, if I play Undisputed, even though I don't like it at all. I don't like, because I'm gonna nitpick every little thing. I'm going to nitpick every little thing. That's why when Norton, shout out to Norton Solo. When Norton Solo asked me to come in and commentate and watch his videos, and sometime I get triggered. I get triggered watching the gameplay and stuff. But I hear how you try to make it sound digestible. And it's funny because Beast is just as passionate as me, but he will play the game. I can't do it. I can't do it. Beast would tell you that, hey, certain things in there. Nah, man, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I can't do it because we both use the two different kind of logics. Because me as a person that box and you as a person that box, and like you said, I box long. I guess the me boxing a longer part, it was the problem. I think me, the person that boxed longer, was the problem, because I can't accept the game for what I want it to be better. And how can you make things better when you accept it for what it is? How can you expect your child? I hate to say this. How do you expect your child to be better if you keep keep saying, all right, that's all right. All right, that's all right. All right, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. They're not going to get better. I've seen it numerously because, like I keep telling you, I study people behavior. When you constantly tell a child that's all right, I've seen it with my own eyes. They become terrible children. If it's not really in their DNA, they become bad children. They disrespectful. 2 children. I literally see it because they keep saying it's okay. My child ain't got to say this. My child ain't got to say that. You got to earn their respect. No, you don't say stuff like that to a child. You don't say, I'm trying to make a point. I'm going, because me, when with psychology and the study of people, I would be here all day saying things that don't have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. All right. You seen me do replays on Fight Night and show how much better it is than Undisputed. It's crazy. A 15-plus-year-old game outshines their abysmal product. Shaking my head, yeah. And the thing is, but you gotta also give Poe. You gotta give Poe. You gotta give me props. Y'all gotta give me props, because if we did not have those sliders, and Fight Night Champion, we will be having the same conversations with both games. It's just that you're able to tweak the game. Now, if you play Fight Night Champ, because even though it's a complete game, 100% complete game. Complete enough. Because, like I say, if I'm talking from the perspective of what I know, Fight Night Champion wasn't even a complete game. But it was complete enough that nobody saw that it was incomplete. Because still, they were telling us, well, mostly me, because I like asking questions. I love asking questions, and they love talking to me. My thing is, when I talk to developers, they get comfortable. They get excited. They like my knowledge, my excitement, my passion. They like that. But people in the community don't like that. And that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. You know what I forgot? And I'm mad. I forgot Ben Whitaker fought today. Please don't tell me what happened. I forgot Ben Whitaker fought today. Man, why you keep asking me that? I told you. Ben Whitaker, I said Ben Whitaker. Brizzo, he went, he's like, he's mad. He's mad at what the game was. Because he won a realistic boxing game. He don't care if it came from a different company. He wanted the realistic boxing game. He wanted the realistic boxing game. Y'all don't realize that. Y'all don't realize there's people that's 2K developers that play boxing games. They don't, even though they're developers, don't mean that they're the company. The developers are human beings. It's people from 2K, Bethesda, EA Sports, all these different companies. They play boxing games. They play sports games. But Brizzo, he was excited. Brizzo was excited about what ESBC was. He was excited about what ESBC was. But Will Kinsler was not excited about what ESBC was. Will Kinsler was not excited about what ESBC was. And that was a problem. Let me see what the time looking like. Oh yeah, I'm about to get into Don D territory. I'm about to get into Don D territory, so I think I'm about to end the show, man. I was about to go another 45 minutes. I was about to go another 45 minutes. Let me know let me see who's here. Let me see how many people here. Let me know in the chat if y'all think I should keep it going. I can keep going while I watch Don D show. While I still support Don D show. Let me know, y'all. I'll go another 45 minutes. I got 7 people here. That's why I be telling y'all. I be having people from the industry in the shadows. Let me know. All right. Don D said keep going. All right, I'll keep it going. Yeah, but all right. Boxing games are no longer just games. Modern sports games are not static representation of the sport. They are living simulation platforms. A well-designed boxing game today functions as a global engine for boxers, a training game for fan engagement, a historical archive for styles and eras, a speculative lab for what-if matchups, a long-term revenue and branding channel for athletes. In other words, the game is no longer just about punching animations or career modes. It is a digital extension of the sport itself. When boxers treat it as a secondary or optional space, they miss out on one of the few scalable tools that can extend their visibility beyond fight night cycles. The participation gap is the real problem. The biggest issue in boxing games is not technology, it is participation density. In most sports games, athletes, leagues, and unions actively engage in data sharing, movement, tendencies, stats, licensing structures that prioritize authenticity, marketing, integration, trailers, promos, crossovers, feedback loops with developers. Feedback loops with developers. Let me say that one more time. Feedback loops with developers. Boxing, by contrast, is fragmented. You often get partial rosters, limited boxer involvement, inconsistent branding direction, minimal structured input from athletes themselves. This creates a simulation gap. Developers are forced to approximate boxer intelligence without consistent real-world behavioral data from the people actually inside the sport. The result is predictable games that feel like boxing aesthetically, but not always structurally. And the point I'm trying to make is boxing is not really involved in boxing. Boxing is not really involved in boxing games. They're not saying anything. They're not making it like boxing needs to say, hey, y'all not representing us right. You're not really saying that much. You're not, when I watch the boxers, they're not fighting like themselves. The gameplay does not reflect boxing. It reflects fighting games. Yes, you can fight in boxing, but the core thing in boxing is boxing. And y'all get it mixed up when I say that. Y'all get it mixed up because y'all using y'all emotions over what is realistic. When y'all hear the word boxing, y'all think of Shakur Stevens. Y'all think of Muhammad Ali. No, I'm talking about boxing. What is boxing? You got slugger, which has variance to it. That's the thing. That's the thing right there. You have sluggers, but when you talk to certain people that are casual, they look at it as just one thing. There's variance to sluggers. There's variance to boxers. There's variants to inside fighting. There's variants to outside fighting. There's variants to all the styles that people try to pinpoint it to like 4 styles or 5 styles. No, there's variants to those 5 styles. There are variants. Like I be telling y'all, when people say, yo, this is the way you throw a hook. Is it really? Is it really? So you're telling me how to throw a hook. And then when I see you throw your hook a certain way, that is not the way you throw it. But there will be other boxers that would say, no, you should throw your hook like this. You should, because that's what worked for him. But boxers throw hooks differently, depending on the boxer. There should not be, like, let's say Muhammad Ali throw his hook a certain way. He should not be throwing his hook the same way Mike Tyson throws his hook. Ali should not be throwing his hook the same way Ali throws his hook. George Foreman should not be throwing his hook the same way Floyd Mayweather throw his hook. Have you ever seen George Foreman do a pull counter? I think I did. I think I actually did see George Foreman do a pull counter probably once or twice, and it probably wasn't intentional. I probably did. That's how unpredictable boxing is. All right. Boxing, by contrast, is fragmented. You often get partial rosters, limited boxer involvement, inconsistent branding, direction, minimal structure input from athletes themselves. This creates simulation gaps. Developers are forced to approximate boxing intelligence without consistent real-world behavioral data from the people actually inside the sport. The result is predictable games that feel like boxing aesthetically, but not always structurally. Why boxer engagement actually benefits boxers. There is a misconception with involvement in games and branching fluff. In reality, it can function as a secondary career layer. When boxers actually support games, they gain extended career visibility. Boxers stay relevant between bouts, sometimes longer after retirement. New audience pipelines. Gamers often become real-world boxing fans after interacting with digital boxers. This I know from being a senior community manager. Senior community moderator and a senior. Moderator. This I know. I literally engaged with the community. I was in there. You would think that I was a regular person because I was the way they're in the Discord, they're barely there and stuff like that. I literally was in that Discord. In the forums, the EA forums, engaging, creating conversations, bringing boxers into the forums, having those conversations. Why boxing engagement actually benefit boxers? There is a misconception that involvement in games is branding fluff. In reality, it functions as a secondary career layer. When boxers actively support games, they gain extended career visibility. Boxers stay relevant between bouts, sometimes long after retirement. New audience pipelines. Gamers often become real-world boxing fans after interacting with digital boxers. Styles preservation. A boxer movement, rhythm, and tendencies can be preserved digitally in a way highlights alone cannot capture. When a boxer is active in the development of a game, or historians are active in a game, every boxer will be structured accordingly. Let me see. Economic diversification. License, look at that big word that post said. And I'm scared to read it again because I might mess up. Economic diversification. Licensing, likeness modeling, and digital appearances are increasing. Stable revenue streams in modern sports ecosystem. Ignoring this space is essential, leaving value on the table that other sports have already learned to capture. And this is, and like I said, I know I said probably every other show, boxers are very dissatisfied. They're pretending because they signed their name on the dotted line. Signed your name on the dotted line. And their thing is, you can see, my thing is, when there's any product, because me as a businessman, even if a person say, oh, it tastes all right, it tastes all right. My thing is, your excitement tells me more than your reaction. When they say, oh, it tastes all right, it's good, it's good. Now, when I give them one of my products and it's good, they get excited. I literally, people like used to dance when they ate some of my cheesecakes or my pies or something like that. They literally were dancing. They talked about it. Word of mouth. My wife used to work at this facility, and I used to give her cakes to take there just to give away. Just to get my thing. I know how to brand. I know how to make people. I made certain cheesecakes or certain cakes that I knew would get people attention. Used to make brownie battered cheesecakes with the bottom with brownie and the top with like a caramel layer, like a caramel top layer, and it had pecans on it. Man, you know, people was acting like they paid for the cake. That's how excited they were. But that's me. It's branding and me making sure. But I was get back to my point because I don't want to go all the way, step into another lane. My wife used to say, hey, they used to be excited. People they were acting, it was like I was selling, and YouTube, I'm not talking about drugs. They used to get excited. They used to be addicted to my product. They used to always want it. Your husband making any more of them cheesecakes? I want another one of them cheesecakes. People used to be excited. There were actually people used to tell me, you're not charging enough for these cheesecakes, but I appreciate for what you're charging. You're not charging them enough. And I knew that. My thing was, eventually I was going to make up for me undercharging myself because I was using premium, I was using high quality products. Because if you know me, I'm into high quality stuff. I'm like one of them people, organic and stuff like that. That's how I do things. I don't put alcohol in my products. There will be no alcohol in my products. I could have probably been a billionaire by now if I would have did that. Because people kept saying, yo, you should make this kind of with the a raisin rum cheesecake. You should do this, do that. And I said, I'm not putting alcohol into my products. I didn't even want alcohol in my flavorings. I didn't even have alcohol in my flavorings. And a lot of y'all gonna say, oh, is that even possible? I know my stuff. I do my research. That's the thing. People don't do their research. All right, let me stop getting on that because I'm going too far left. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. All right, I appreciate y'all, man. I'll look for you when you pop in. Okay. Appreciate you, man. There's too much technology in the world for a boxing game to not have variants of different punches and movement. Exactly. 100%. Too much technology. And I can literally break down the technology. How is it that you got technology in some of these banks and stuff like that? Some of these areas where it measures your body movement, your heat of your body, and all these different things. In movies, they have the technology to produce accurate CGI and stuff like that. The technology exists. I've been saying this for even back then, even 10 years ago, even though they was being kind of lazy, but still made a better product. They were being kind of lazy because it was EA. EA is, let's not give them everything now. Let's stretch it out. And to me, the gaming industry should be very scared trying to stretch things out. Let me see. Don D said, I'm so glad that God saw fit to bless you with the idea of sliders. Thank you, Paul, for getting that in Fight Night Champion for all of us. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. A lot of people, they really don't know. And my thing is, if you think I'm lying, look at the wish list that I sent Steel City. I mean, not Steel City. The wish list that I sent EA. They let it be known that they got the wish list. They let it be known that they got the wish list. And I have a wish list. They literally, and this is why I always have respect for Brizzle. This is why I always have respect for Brizzle. He literally put it the way I had structured, but I didn't want it structured like that. What I gave him, it was basically an idea of what we want, and you start adding to that. He literally put in it. He put in the game exactly the way I had it, and that's respect. Shout out to Brian Brizzle Hayes. I'ma always have respect for you for that. I'ma always have respect for you. Brizzle went to bat for me. When EA got rid of me, Brizzle went to bat for me to bring me back. They brought me back. The people at that time that was in the, and that's why I be saying, shout out to Ace Move. Ace Move, he speaks up for me in the Discord. When I was with EA, it shows what kind of person I was, because the whole community, they protested me not being there. They protested me not being there. So that right there says a lot about my character, who I was in the community. I'm not trying to get paid or I want something. All I want is a great game that support that replicates the sport of boxing. I don't want a fighting game. I don't want a fighting game. We already have enough fighting games. I want a boxing game. Let me see. I'm precisely said, darn, I'm not going to say the word. All right. I need to have a good Po cheesecake. You might get a vegan cheesecake now, even though they're still just as good. Po out here slanging them pies. Yup. I'm joking, my guy. Nah. I heard that joke a lot of times. Shoot, you should hear me when I'm walking down the street. People always say, "You still making them bean pies? You still making them cheesecakes?" That's all. That's the conversation I always hear. I remember one guy, out of force of habit of just paying me ahead of time. I said, "I'm not making them right now." He still gave me money. He still gave me money. And I said, "Yo, man, don't give me no money." "Yeah, man, take the money. Just keep it." And walked away. He said, "Just when you see me again, or when you start back making your cheesecakes or bean pies or whatever, make it." I said, "I don't make the same kind that you used to." He said, "I know how good you are, that they're still good and great." And I was like, "Dad, man, that right there." That's why I said it's a lot of good people that back me and support me, and I appreciate them. Let me see. Let me see. Or just proper punches in general. Yeah. But let's not give them no basic ideas. You said just proper punches in general. We need the bases straight, but let's not say it like that. We tell Steel City, we just want, hey, just give us proper punches. That's exactly what they're thinking. Hey, dang, just proper punches. We can do that. We can do that. That's easy too, right? We ain't got to do that much work. We ain't got to do that much work. Just proper punches. Yeah, let's give them just proper punches. What is proper punches? And that's the point right there. What is proper punches? I heard people say, and this the part that's funny to me. I heard people say, "Yo, you want too much." I want too much. Video games been around for 46 years. Technically longer than that, but I'm saying 46 years. Video games been around for 46 years. No, video games been around for over 50 years. Video games. Boxing video games been around for 40 something years. Activision Boxing. And there's actually a game before Activision Boxing, but it's an arcade game. There's actually a game that came out before Activision Boxing, but it's an arcade game, literally in an arcade. So when you talk to a person like me, I have a right to say what I'm saying. It's like you feeling some type of way. Let's just say people were still, let's see if I'm gonna use this example. And I know I'm being extreme about it, but I'm gonna use this example. Let's say the Fred Flintstone car. Let's say they just kept it that way in this day and age. Or it's just a little bit better. The horse and buggy. You pull in a car with a horse. Let's just say that you're pulling a horse with pulling a cart with a horse, or something that looked like a car with a horse, or a bike. You're riding a bike, a pedal car. Are you pedaling the car around? In this day and age. But a person in their mind, they know that technology should be better. Yeah, we need uniqueness as well, but they need to get the fundamentals down first, so we don't crappy animations overall. Yeah, 100%. I know that's what you meant, but I gotta always do what I do. I know exactly that's what you meant. It's the fundamentals, 100%. That's why I was making that example. What I was just making, I know I went too far left with with what I was saying, but yeah, we gotta we as a community, it bothers me. I know it shouldn't bother me, and sometimes people like for other people to be bothered. They like when things disrupt structure. They like when things disrupt structure. And my thing is this, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Like when I do, like I tell y'all, I do human behavior. I do research on human behavior and stuff like that. So I get excited because I watch these videos of people in prison, of these content creators that they were in prison and they come out here and give their perspective of their experiences and stuff like that. And that stuff like that, that's like, yo, I like watching that. And it shows me how people allow themselves to become victims. Certain people allow themselves to become victims. And my thing is, people, like with this game, they're allowing themselves to become victims. Because nothing changed if you don't do anything or say anything. Nobody respects you if you don't say or do anything. People take advantage of the weak. People take advantage of the weak. And you know what it is? And I'm a good example. And I'm going to use myself as an example. When I was in school, my mother always told me, do not fight in school. Do not get in trouble. And me, I was very obedient. But I have a warrior soul. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by I have a warrior soul. I know my mother will tear my butt up. My mother will whoop the mess out of me if I go to school and make her look bad. She got to come home from work or something like that. She will give me the beat down. But my thing was, I'll take that beat down. I will take that beat down because I'm not letting anybody disrespect me. Because I let it go on. No, my thing is, I let it go for a little bit. So now the person get comfortable with disrespecting me. So now when I look around, I start seeing other people, because I call myself ignoring that person. But then by you letting it go and that other people see it and they see you as you're a big, dark skin, you're hey, he's a big guy and he should, we should be afraid of him. We should be somewhat afraid of him. And they see me say, hey, if I talk slick to him and I do certain things against him, now people going to see me as the cool person. People going to see me as, so my thing is, hold up. Me being a logical person, even though I'm obedient, I said, nah, man, it's not in me. Because in the street, I will kick a joker butt even as a child, even as a 7-year-old, I've beaten up 14-year-olds as a 7-year-old. Put that into context. So my thing is, people kept saying things, so I had to do things. I took that punishment my mother gave me because I refused to let you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Keep pushing, disrespecting me. The warrior in me came out. It's many people in the school that people saw as bullies. I smashed them out. It's times that jokers jump me. I smashed them out. Not saying that I was a war machine, but I was a war machine. But my thing is, when you let people keep abusing you, they're going to keep giving you the same thing. That's the point I'm trying to make. When you keep letting people abuse you, they're going to keep giving you the same thing. Steel City is going to keep giving you the same thing, the same product. Will Kinsler does not care about boxing. Just enough. He knows enough and cares enough. Because if you look at the fan that Will Kinsler was for Madden, if you saw the fan that Will Kinsler was for Madden, I was in that community. I was in the Madden community. I know when they first started their forums. I remember before they started stuff on the sites and stuff. I was there. Will Kinsler, and I keep forgetting the other guy. It was Will Kinsler and another guy that EA hired that brought on board immediately because they had sites and they were passionate. They had a fan base. So if Will Kinsler used that same exact mentality, we will have a better boxing game. But he's not using that. He's not using that. He don't care about boxing the way he makes it seem. Games need more than names. They need identity. Games need more than names. They need identity. One of the core weaknesses in boxing games historically has been the overemphasis on who is in the game instead of how boxing is represented. A roster full of names is not enough if boxing styles are generic. AI behavior is shallow. Career systems are scripted rather than dynamic. Boxer identity is reduced to stats alone. Boxing is not just power and speed. It is rhythm, decision-making, risk tolerance, psychological pressure, and adaption under fatigue. To model that correctly, developers need access and cooperation from boxers who are articulate about how they actually operate in the ring, not just their record. The ecosystem effect. What happens when boxing supports boxer games? What the ecosystem effect. What happens when boxing supports boxing games? When the sport engages properly with its digital counterpart, several things happen simultaneously. Fans develop deeper understanding of styles and strategy. Fighters gain longer commercial lifespans. The sport becomes more accessible globally. New talent emerges from gaming communities. Boxing culture becomes more documented and systematized. It starts becoming a one-way broadcast sport and becomes an interactive ecosystem. This is the direction other sports have already moved toward. Boxing is simply later in this transition. Boxing is simply later in the transition. It's not that it's later. It's the way that they're intentionally structuring it. Once I saw that they pushed the boxers out of the studio, I knew what was going on. A lot of people think that I'm overreacting. Nah, I'm not overreacting. When you're outside looking in, of course you're going to say that. But I knew better. I knew better. And guess what? Other developers knew better too. Other developers knew better too. Once they push out the boxers, once they push out historians, I don't think they actually had historians. They just had boxers, which was stupid. When you have boxing historians in the studio, you get a better feel than actual just only boxers. Because boxers tend to be biased with their styles. So that's when the historians come into play. And I try to give Steel City historians. Steve Kim is not a historian. Steve Kim is not a historian. When Steve Kim says certain things, it's guesstimating. He's guessing a lot of things. Steve Kim is guessing a lot of things. Him and Mario Lopez. And no disrespect to Mario Lopez. But they're guesstimating. They're speaking like literally fans. They speaking like casual fans. Because when Steve Kim says stuff, it's like, yo, man, you sound like a real casual fan. You sound like a casual fan. You don't sound like a boxing fan. It's just say he knows how to talk. If you get a person, and this is always been my thing, if you get a person that know how to talk, they will talk you out of anything. They're a hustler. And that's what Steve Kim is. He's a great speaker. He speaks good enough to be relevant in what he does. But a person that know what they know, they see through all that nonsense he's saying. Let me see. The missed opportunity and cultural, it's cultural, not technical. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Yeah. I'm precise. You saying you feel me? That sounds like somebody I know says that term a lot. That sounds like a that's what the New Orleans area people say a lot. You feel me? You feel me? Even though we say that up here, that's like the 90s. The 90s we'll say, you see what I'm saying? But you feel me? You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. I 100% know what you're talking about. All right, let me see. The missed opportunity is cultural, not technical. The technology to build sophisticated boxing simulations already exists. And my thing is, I'm willing to debate any developer. I'm willing to debate any developer. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm willing to debate any developer in private, and I will not tell, hey, hit me up on LinkedIn or whatever and say, Poe, you was wrong about this and wrong about that. And I will not put your name out there and I say, hey, this developer said I was wrong and he broke it down to let me know. And I will concede. I will concede with what I know. But when you tell me something, I'm literally going to ask other developers and I'm going to do research on it. Whatever you tell me, because you can localize technology that benefits your arguments. But if there's other technology that succeeds what you're saying, I got to bring it back into the argument. All right, the missed opportunity is cultural, not technological. The technology to build sophisticated boxing simulations already exists or is rapidly evolving. That's the part right there. Rapidly evolving. Motion capture, AI behavior modeling. Physics systems are no longer bottleneck. The real constraints is cultural alignment. Do boxers see games as part of their legacy? Do promoters see them as long-term marketing infrastructures? Do organizations treat them as strategic assets rather than side licensing deals? Until the answer shifts toward yes, boxing games still continue to operate below their true ceiling. Boxing games are not a distraction from boxing. They are increasingly becoming one of its mirrors. And in some cases, it's memory. But mirrors only reflect what is placed in front of them. If the sport doesn't actively participate in shaping that reflection, someone else will define it by default. The community is not just to make better games. The opportunity is not just to make better games. It is to make boxing itself more visible, more understandable, more globally persistent through them. And this is what I always say to companies, and they agree. A boxing game can make $1 billion $1 billion is if it is made correctly. A boxing game can be $1 billion game if made correctly. How do you know that, Poe? You know how I know that? Steel City put out an incomplete game. And it sold over 1 million copies with an incomplete game. You know why it didn't continue selling? Because people caught on that it was an incomplete game and they did not buy it anymore. But if the game gave people a reason to buy it, they would have bought it. If we had tendencies, sliders, if we had a more deeper creation mode, people would buy it. If we had a more in-depth career mode, people would buy it. If we had a story mode, people would buy it. And when I say people will buy it, it's different groups of people that will been buying it. There would have been different groups of people that would have buy it just for those modes. Y'all don't. This is what I be trying to tell people. This is why I do research. I say I study people behavior. I study the community. They should have people that do that. I study the community. There's actually a fan base that actually like creating characters that don't even play the game or not really that interested in the game. But they create characters that other people in the community love. But this game is so messed up and limited, the creation mode is garbage. This game is so limited that the creation mode is garbage. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that. But from my perspective, as a consumer, it's garbage. Some people see things better. Some people, they'll take garbage. They'll shine it up a little bit. Shine it up a little bit and use it. And my thing is, stop getting mad at people for being passionate. Why is it? Y'all, I'm like, y'all, it makes no sense. Make it make sense. Let me see. All right. And I'm gonna say I'm in the show off with this. I did 2 hours. Did more than I thought I was gonna do. Please support the survey. Please support the survey. Share it. Post it in different places that would allow you to post it without you getting in trouble. Please support the survey. Please I mean, the survey and the petition, or either or. But support both of them, the petition and the survey. But my thing is, if you fill out my survey and they get over 100 people that signed it, that put eyes on it. It's 100 people to them. It's 100 people. It caught their attention. To them, 100 is like a 100,000. It got attention. If the petition get 100 people to sign it, that's attention. My thing is, come on, it's like y'all act like y'all signing away things, supporting it, like that's going to take something away from you. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, till the next day. Peace. And I'm precisely, get your rest, man. Get your rest, man. I'm always saying you on here. I got sleep apnea. Somewhat. I got sleep apnea. So my thing is I'll sleep for probably about an hour or two and I'll be right back up. Sleep for an hour or two, right back up. I might get if I get 7 hours sleeping, 8 hours of sleeping, yo, that's a good thing. But, again, shout out to y'all. And shout out to Don D. Appreciate y'all. Support him. And shout out to Blaster X. Shout out to the Wishlist Mafia. Shout out to I'm Precisely. Shout out to Box Eye View. Shout out to, let me see who came through. Blaster X. Shout out to Ichiro. Shout out to Donnie in the Discord. Shout out to Donnie in the Discord. Shout out to Papanosis. Y'all gotta check out Papanosis. Papanosis, he expanded on the tendencies too. Papanosis, he deep into stuff too. Papanosis, he's the like in this how I build groups. This how I know if I build a game, y'all will have the best boxing game ever. If I build a game, because I know y'all like, he's just talking. He's just talking. I'm going to explain it to y'all before this show ends. With me, when I made my Wishlist Mafia, I picked people in the group that they're special at certain things. People that's good for controls, that had ideas for controls. People that were good for story modes. People that was good for creation modes. People that was good for different things, gameplay, all these different things. They had ideas. And a lot of these things they're focused on. Me, I focused on all of these things. But I had people that was their specialties. That they were special about that. Papanosis, the creation mode, that's his specialty. He has attention to details for the creation mode. Even though that's one of my things that I like, I let Pap have it. Hey, Pap, that's your thing. Papanosis, that's his thing. But my thing is I put all them people together and we became like Voltron. And they liked that. The developers from EA liked that. Some of them didn't because it was more work. That's why Brizzle said, hey, Brizzle basically liked what I was doing. And he was like, yo, send me the list. He knows that we built a list from all these different people in the community. We all had different sections, even though I start over the years since that list, I grabbed it and I start refining it because everything shouldn't stay the same. Over years, things change. Knowledge, you get more knowledge, you get more insight of things. So the wish list that we originally had, I start looking at things and start changing things because I start seeing things differently that could be added. Dang, Precise. What you get, man? What you get, like 2 hours sleep? It's like Precise, you only get like 2 or 3 hours sleep, man. You must got sleep apnea too. All right, yeah, but shout out to the Wishlist Mafia again. Papanosis, Indigo 72, Rainmaker, Vlad, who else in that group? That I forgot. How I created a group years ago, and I used to talk to the guys all the time, and I forget them because I don't conversate with them. But it's a lot of us, y'all. But until next day, y'all, peace. Let me, say it again, peace. Let me go support Don D. Gotta go support the brother. Don D 205 on Twitch. Support the brother. I'm going over there now. Peace.